Hey guys, I wanted to talk about writing a research question today. I know I've kind of hit you with a lot of information in the last week about, setting up research questions and revising them, but I just want to make sure that you actually understand what I am telling you to do. So the focus of this unit is obviously research, and this is where a lot of students are freaking out. It is your choice what you are researching. Okay, now different grade levels, for instance, English 1, I've given you something specific to look at. English 2, I've given you something specific to look at, but those are just overarching concepts. You have to pick what it is that you want to research. All right, so this is self-guided, self-motivated, although I'm cheering you on, and you have got to figure this out. So the good thing is we do research every single day. I just used research earlier when I decided to try my hand at baking bread. It did not turn out well. I need to do more research. But you do this every day when you decide to look at, new shoes that are on the market, or you're thinking about doing a facial, or you want to change, your tires on your car, whatever. You do research every single day. So don't let the formality of the sound of this really cripple you, because you know how to do this and Ponder believes in you. So today we're focusing on research questions. Let's get going. So first of all, what makes a good one? There are definitely good research questions and bad ones, which we will examine later. So let's look at the qualities of the good one first. The first one is that there's not one right answer. Okay, it's research. And so depending on what your research is, that will decide kind of what your answer is to it. So you could research it, the same topic with me, and we might come up with different answers, but as long as we have the evidence to support what our question is, then we're heading in the right way. Second of all, it causes people to think about issues beyond their own experiences. There is important stuff to research every day, and it doesn't necessarily have to be geared towards you or who you are as a person. But this is also what makes us awesome students and learners, is that we can think about things that don't directly affect us. So, for instance, English 1, honors is reading I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings. Most of my students probably have not been to Arkansas, let alone did they live during the time period in which the story took place. However, there are relevant topics to discuss about that situation. Or the Holocaust. None of us were alive during the Holocaust, but we should all have something that we question about what happened then. So again, make sure your question isn't just focused on who you are as the writer of this question, but what can benefit all of us as just human beings about our experience in life. How does your question help all of us do better? Next, this kind of goes with the first bullet. There's no right answer, but also there's not a simple yes or no, okay? Your research question is a level 3 question. So when we practice writing our leveled questions earlier in the school year, a level 1 question would be a quick, easy yes or no answer. Whereas a level 3 requires a lot more justification and explanation to support your answer. And that's where the research comes into play. You can't just say, for instance, I'll stick with the Holocaust. You can't just say the Holocaust was bad. All right, that's way too general and that's way too obvious. So you kind of have to come up with a question to which the answer will not be simply yes or no. All right. Next, obviously, it's a research question. It requires research. Okay, you have to be able to answer the question in a way that you have supporting information. It provides a specific topic. So don't do this big general question. You need to focus on something very specific, because while this is a research project, I don't want it to become a rabbit hole. So focus on one thing specifically so you don't get lost in the minutia of the internet. And then lastly, it is academic in its tone and diction. We are not researching who is the better Kardashian. We are not researching is the Yeezy brand the best brand. We're not doing those because, one, it doesn't make us better people to know those things while they are entertaining, but also, two, it's not very academic. So focus on the academic side and stick with kind of what we've been discussing this school year. So next, if I can get there, examples of good and not so good research questions. So let's look at these real quick. And I'll give you a minute just to read over them real quick. Okay, you should have an idea of which ones are pretty good and which ones are meh, not so good. I will tell you there is one that is a trick question because that's what I do. I'm a teacher. I'm trying to make sure you're paying attention. So let's look at the first one. How has poverty affected education in America? Well, that's specific. People could all have different answers for that question. So this is something also that you have to research in order to answer it. Okay, it's not a yes or no. So, hey, that's a good question. Number 2. Why is Maya Angelou the best author ever? Well, it is specific, but it's also calling upon people to exhibit their own biases. Some people might not like Maya Angelou, and so therefore their answer, is probably I don't care. So this is not the best question to write. Number 3, what can politicians do to make equality between the social classes a reality? Okay, so this one is, again, very specific. I'm talking about politicians. I'm talking about equality. I'm talking about social classes. And I'm talking about action. Like, they have to make it into something that's available for all of us. So that is a good question. Number 4, is this a difficult project? No. No, it is not. Nor is that a good question. Number 5, what does Maya Angelou's writing reveal about biases in rural societies? So again, you should read that and be like, hey, that's a good question. And then 6, this is the trick question. Why was the Holocaust bad for minorities? So what did you think? Is that a good one or a bad one? I'm going to blow your mind. That is not the best question. It's okay, but it's not that good. And we're going to revise that question specifically in a minute. All right? So what we're going to do is look at the